Welcome to episode 57 of the Necronama.com. I am James Sabata, horror author, screenwriter, co-host of the podcast you're listening to right now, and I will not be happy unless my death is caused by Max, because he is the greatest killer of all time.
And I am Don Guillory, author, educator, historian, and yeah, I definitely did appreciate Max in this film as well as some of the other characters. But unlike you, I'm not looking forward to getting killed by anybody.
Look around at the news, man. I can't wait till Max kills me. That's going to be great.
Good to have a good little conversation before he does it.
Max is a good guy, and I'm going to talk about why in a little bit. But let's talk about somebody who's not a good guy. Thomas Brungardt is back today. Thomas, you've been on, what, like 4 episodes now?
This is lucky number 4. That's
Woo-hoo!
Right. Woohoo.
So, I mean, we did what? Splice, where you talked alien genitalia. That's exciting. And then we had The Host, where you had some guy who looked like he was in an outhouse trying to sneak out.
Human genitalia, that episode.
Oh, yeah, good point. And then Jurassic Park, where we mixed genitalia that shouldn't be mixed, right?
That's right, yeah.
No, there was no genitalia, I guess. They just remade it. Fuck it. I'm stupid. Whatever. No one cares.
Well, the animals changed genitalia and gender, so...
Oh,
you know.
We have a winner. So,
right.
Yeah. So, we have some genitalia stuff going on in this film today, so I think you'll fit right in. It'll be fine.
I'm always on board for a conversation about genitals and horror films. So.
I guess, are we typecasting Thomas or type-guesting him? It has to be a discussion of genitalia of some sort.
No, I mean, if I was going to typecast him, I mean, wouldn't I just keep doing foreign films? Because he is the guy from Half a Minute, Half an Asian, right? So
yeah, but I would love the idea of like you or me being a call-in guest as like the genitalia expert, the way like there's correspondence on the news. Like let's get
our senior genitalia correspondent.
Well, maybe not seniors.
Well, we can't say junior genitalia because people really react badly to that.
We'll work on it's a work in progress. We'll figure out the title later.
Excellent.
The point is I have the job, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why I'm here for this episode. I wanted to do a different movie, but James said no. That
is actually true. We'll come back to that in the future, though.
Yes.
We'll add a genitalia joke because that'll fit in really well there.
But you know, this movie has my favorite line of all time. It's when the dad of the middle school girl, like his little crush across the street, the neighbor, the guy with the muscle car.
Yes.
When he's about to peel out and he just says, "NASCAR Nation, bitch." I fucking lost it. Like the movie had me hooked immediately because I was just like, that's the funniest line. Because I'm a big NASCAR fan and I love just that it's a joke. And I love that they made that joke in this because I couldn't figure out what part of the country this movie was based in. Did you guys?
No, I was wondering the same. Like I couldn't tell if it was the Midwest or, you know, there was nothing that was really telling about it.
Yeah, like it wasn't coastal and it wasn't like there was nothing special about the area, it seemed like, except that all of the middle schoolers knew who all of the high schoolers were, which I guess would have to be Middle America, right? A small town like that.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah,
I hadn't considered that. That's a good point. No, I figured that we were just getting lost in the suburbs like movies tend to do. And, you know, then it's supposed to be everywhere and the boredom of the suburbs and that kind of shit. Right. But I want to talk about the character you just brought up. Let's start with him because we're going to talk a lot about masculinity in this episode, I think. And Don, I know you really wanted to talk about this guy. So do you want to jump into it?
Oh, God, the dad. I didn't even bother learning his name. I just called him Douche Dad when I was watching this film because his whole story is, you know, his daughter likes Cole, who's the main character, and she gets in the car and she's explaining like, oh yeah, that's my dad. He got this car after my parents got divorced. And he has all the signs of like that douchey dad in the neighborhood who wants to relive his glory days. So he goes out and buys a Chevy Nova Super Sport. Now, I have nothing against Chevy Nova Super Sports. I have nothing against muscle cars. But if you're a man who is clearly in his 40s, probably later, and you're buying that type of car just because now you've gone back out on the market, there are a lot of things we got to process. And the fact that he's also trying to look cool in front of, people that are his child's age, 12, 13 years old. Like, this is not Billy Madison. Like, this makes no sense for him. Yeah. And then he peels off, from the middle school. Like, who the fuck are you trying to impress?
Oh my God, I never even thought about this. This is hilarious.
But there's so much going on with this guy where, I guess he thought when he saw somebody at his age in one of those cars, it was really fucking cool. But to be that age now and you just sit there, as an adult now, and I think about getting a car, sports car or something like that. And my first thought is like, I'm not going to fucking peel off. Tires cost a lot of money. Fuck that. Especially if they have to be custom fit for a Chevy Super Sport where you have, the sizes, more bigger in the back than you do in the front if you're trying to have a certain look to it. I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm not going to impress some little punk ass kids. But
I love that character. I love that guy. That guy was my favorite part of the movie.
It just, I love the comedy of it. But as far as like that type of person, it just irritating. And I was sitting there like, I hope this guy dies or something really bad happens to him in this movie. And what's crazy is, Thomas, you mentioned him, being your favorite. I kept waiting for him to come back a couple of times. And there are these moments where he interacts with Cole and he has these, less than positive interactions with him, with the name calling, things like that. Like, he's that guy that you hope is not your father-in-law, because his judge of masculinity is based off of how big your car is or how cool your car is or some other ridiculous shit like, oh, you never changed oil? What kind of man are you? Never changed the battery? What kind of man are you? And you kind of see that theme throughout where different men and different adolescents are trying to test their masculinity off of each other or even off of themselves, which is a great thing to look at because you see how people are innocent with this whole idea of masculinity and trying to figure things out. And you have people who have kind of figured it out and are trying to help somebody else. And then you have people just like, no, fuck you. I'm going to be an asshole because you're not as much of a man as I am.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I've spent most of quarantine rebuilding a car, so I feel like oozing with masculinity right now. But the thing you said before, I did do that, but I'm kidding about the masculinity. But I can totally see where you're coming from about like that. I feel like it's like our father's generation who really, were all about being men, and being a gearhead was, something you did as a man. But you brought up earlier Billy Madison, and I had written down Billy Madison, but about a different character.
The O'Doyles.
The O'Doyle, man. We can get into this later because I want to circle back to that. But I want to keep on the subject of the car because I feel like a lot of the time throughout this movie there's callbacks and tropes to other horror films.
Right.
And I thought the car was going to be something like kind of an homage to like Christine, where they missed an opportunity to have the same car as, that book, like another little horror Easter egg. But in the end, it just ended up being just this muscle car that the guy bought to feel masculine. So I thought it was like a missed opportunity because the theme of the movie, it feels like, is just pulling from all of these other things. And maybe it would have been too on the nose, but I think that would have been pretty inside for, horror fans.
No, I agree. For me, I kept expecting him to matter at the end instead of the car, or at least the first time I saw this, because I've seen this like 10 times. Well, I don't know why, but I love this movie. Well, I know why. I
don't know why either.
But because it's so bad, but Max is so great. So anyway, no, but I just felt like something this guy does was going to matter at the end. And instead, of course, it's his car that matters. And I think it's a beautiful setup as a writer because you could have just left a car. It could have been any car. Like the fact that they went to all this trouble to write a character for this car to be there in order to use this exact car to do it. That's kind of beautiful.
It's believable that that car would make it through a house. I don't believe that the Nissan Leaf would have projectile through a house, right? Like it had to be a beefy car. And like his dad, the Ken Marino character, isn't going to have that, right? He only has that electric car and I think like a Honda Civic or something. Like you needed that set up for that big, like weighty thing to fly through at the end.
Well, and in a way, like, I mean, obviously if you're listening to this, we're going to talk spoilers either way, but like in a way he hits his, Cole hits becoming a man by getting in the car and doing the very thing that this guy who owns it wants to do, right? Like maybe not slam it into a house, but he basically races it down the street.
Oh, everything happens in that. It's like a little like bar mitzvah for him in 10 seconds. Yeah. Like he gets in the car, he learns how to drive, he like jumps it over like scrap wood. And like in that moment between jumping and hitting the house, like his voice drops and he starts growing pubes. Like he becomes a man.
And then he looks at a blonde chick who wants one last sentimental moment and he basically tells her to fuck off. So yeah, he really has just turned into a man, huh?
Yeah. And pretty typical of that, you know, what I imagine to be the Midwest. Like this is just what they're like.
I mean, I'll back that up.
But like what Don was saying before with Billy Madison and the O'Doyles, they kept having like that kind of, they were really trying to have comic relief. And I know you guys, you know, focus a lot on the horror, but me coming from a comedy background, I always think about how something could be funnier. Kind of the way you probably think of how something could be scarier, right? Like there's missed opportunities all over the place. And I feel like they're trying really hard to put humor into the movie, but there's times where they just let it go and they stop doing it, and then it just doesn't work. Because there's those two times at the beginning where that bully who's like the O'Doyle or like the Steve Holt, it like throws something at him or knocks him over and just yells, "Pussy!" Right? But but they never call back to that. It never comes back. And it's just like these wasted opportunities for humor. And that's part of what really drove me crazy about it. It's like, if you're going to go for it, you know? But I do love a character like that because you need that, you know, antagonizing bully to make the story worthwhile. And I know, Don, you wanted to talk a little bit about the bullying that goes on in the film because it's across the board. Like everybody is bullying this kid.
Yeah.
Hey, really fast.
Just a target.
Can I add one thing before we do that?
Yeah.
I just want to say, I think that the overall tone of this movie is its biggest problem. Because like you said, it doesn't fully embrace the comedy, but it doesn't fully embrace the horror. And I feel like it could have done all of these different things, but they never had a backbone with any of it. And the movie just kind of flounders because of that. So I just wanted to add that to what you said.
It's like the wrong director for it, because it's the guy who made Charlie's Angels, right? Mick G. And it took me out of it right away because Mick G sounds like a 2000s porn director. Like, it's a terrible name, fix it. But it's just, like, you know how they keep having the screen pop up with different title cards? When he sees
Switchblade.
Switchblade or what the fuck?
Pocket knife or something.
They get away from that. And I feel like there were so many opportunities for them to be funny with it. Like there's a scene where right before he runs into Bella Thorne's character sitting on the chair, where he's just like kind of sneaking through the house, trying not to make noise and trying not to be caught. And then he backs into a houseplant. I thought it would have been really funny if there was a title card that just said houseplant.
See, that's hilarious. Or even if Bella suddenly had one that said one boob.
Right, that would have been so funny, but they got away from it, and it just, there's all these little things that they tried and just never followed through with. It felt really disconjointed.
It's almost like a group project. Like a bunch of people tried different stuff, but there was no cohesive thing.
Yeah, or they just shot a bunch of stuff and they tried to edit it together, and that's what they came up with.
Yeah. But. All right, so what were you going to say about bullying, Don?
Oh, no, there's a lot to it because it seems as though Cole isn't just being bullied, you know, just because, you know, he happens to be there. It's that idea that he is that innocent kid who's 12 and still wearing pajamas. You know, he doesn't know any, you know, you even get the sense that his parents bully him by babying him. Like, oh, you know, hey kid, what's going on? And he's like, well, I'm watching Mad Men. Oh, can I watch it? no, you wouldn't like it. Not that, it's got dirty words or anything like. It was just one of those weird things where they were coddling him so much. It was kind of like, oh, to steal the words of some of the other characters. It was almost in their minds like, oh, our kid is such a pussy. We can't do this for him, or we can't do this. We can't expose him to this because he's not ready for any of that stuff, right?
Don't they say that like Mad Men is a little deep or something? Like it's such a vague,
it's a little too deep
bullshit answer.
And what's crazy, like he immediately goes, which I found funny that there were no parental blockers on his iPad. Or on his laptop, because it seems as though they would have had that stuff up there so he couldn't look up, the dirtiness that's out there in the internet. Because I'm sure this 12-year-old has had conversation with other kids where they would say, "Hey, man, I was looking on the hub the other day and I saw this." I find it very hard to believe that he would have been, I don't know, at least that innocent at that age, but it fits into the movie where he has to be so innocent. But yeah, the bullying itself that you see people committing against Cole is all about, I guess, the way that his parents coddled him to make him an innocent kid, to make him a little bit oblivious to what's out there in the world, to where it makes him an easier target for so many things related to masculinity. Like, I mean, the two words, and I'm only using these words because these are words that would typically be used when I was growing up, and also have bring up a lot of things, a lot of baggage in movies like this. To emasculate a young boy or to try and challenge his masculinity, words like fag or pussy were used to try and assert your masculinity as being higher than somebody else's. And so when it comes up in this film, you see exactly that. When it's the bully or anybody else that's trying to approach him in a way to let him know you are less masculine than I am, so I can call you this. Even when Max is choking the shit out of Cole to kill him, they hear a noise, and it's the bully, the neighborhood bully, throwing eggs at his house, and Max tells him, "Hey, you got to go do something about this." And it's a great comedic thing because he's killing this kid, and he's so disturbed at the fact that this other kid is picking on him that he's like, "No, you can't go out like this. You got to stand up for yourself."
See, this is why I love right here. It's a man. He doesn't want to go out like that. He wants you to have this moment, get your backbone, and you have your best moment. And then he fucking kills you. And that's why I want Max to kill me.
Because he's going to let you have your best moment before you die?
Yes.
Well, even with that, like the masculine thing, because Samara Weaving's character tells Cole how to stand up for himself, which is kind of a thing like, oh, if you're being chased by the bullies, do this. Like, get them to chase you, fall on the ground, they trip over you, kick them in the dick. And just that line, I started laughing because that is like fighting 101 when you're that age.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do is kick you in the dick or kick you in the nuts. That's all I got to do and I win this fight. And he tries that with Max and it doesn't work. It's just one of those things. And Max's his reply to getting kicked in the groin is, "Oh man, were you trying to kick me in the dick? You missed. And I've got a big dick."
No, you don't.
It was just even if it's true, right? That's not something that you would say unless you were trying to assert that you are more masculine than somebody else. It's a reason why we call it pissing contests and dick measuring contests. Like, that's what it comes down to, is like your masculinity is less than somebody else's if you don't, quote unquote, measure up.
Yeah, definitely. And what you were saying about the parents that were, they're babying him, and by babying him, they're bullying him. And I thought that about how the babysitter they've hired for him is this like beautiful girl who's standing up for him to people, and it's even more emasculating that this girl is standing up for him to his, you know, his peers, right? It doesn't matter, you know, how pretty she is, or, you know, it's just it's another form of emasculating this little kid.
Well, and they don't even view him as grown up enough to find her attractive. Like, you know, like that never comes up. It's well, I guess it comes up once when Cole says that people make fun of him for having a babysitter till they see her. And then the dad's like, damn right, you know, but like dad says it like, I want to bang Samara Weaving, not like my son who's 12 could possibly be man enough to think this way. And I thought that was really interesting because like I always, when I was a kid, I would have like people who had to check on me because my parents went out of town a lot. So like I got to stay home, right? And people didn't necessarily like stay with me, but they had to like swing by and make sure I was alive or whatever because it was a very different time. Or maybe they were supposed to check if I was dead yet. Like, I don't know. I can't trust my parents.
Well, so I wanted to talk about this, and I wanted to get into like their parenting techniques, because when I was, you know, 12 or 13, I still had like a babysitter for overnight things. Like when my parents wanted to take their have their staycation hand jobs at like a DoubleTree, right? Yeah. Like they would have somebody come watch me and my sister, because I had a younger sister. But in this situation, Cole doesn't have siblings. He's an only child. So I wanted to ask you guys, like, at what age is it appropriate to leave like a kid at home alone overnight? Because he's 12, and I feel like 12 is like on the precipice of it, because 13 to me seems like the logical, like you can handle yourself overnight, but 12 is like on the fence.
I'm trying to remember. I went through this, so I would probably say 18.
Wow.
Wow.
No, because it was one of those things that being a teenage boy, because I will never say it, an 18-year-old is a grown up. Being a teenage boy, we are fucking stupid. And we will do whatever we can to, you know, doesn't make any sense. But as far as if it's a kid that you trust, like, he's not going to do anything. Like, you know, Cole is not going to have a party at the house. He's not going to do any of these things. If you simply told him, Cole, your mom and I are going out of town we're going to, you know, have our anniversary. We're going to have a dinner. We're going to go out. We'll be back in the morning.
She's going to give me a hand job.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they would be really cool. I'm like, all right, you know, here's some money for pizza or whatever. And just leave him be. Oh, you know, we told Miss Miller across the street that you're here, you know, by yourself. So if you need anything, call her. That seems like that's the type of neighborhood that they live in, not a neighborhood where, well, we got to still keep calling a babysitter for you. Now, if he's a fuck up, yeah, definitely like the kid who's egging the house, because at the end of the movie, those kids are out riding their bikes at like what, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. It seems like, just because
it suck,
you know, sitting there like, those kids need a babysitter if their asses are going to be out that late.
Well, my thing is, like, you don't need an overnight watcher unless you're like a truant or you have special needs. And this kid isn't one of the two, unless you count being a pussy as a special need. Like, he needs somebody there to protect him, sure. But I don't see the merit for like this whole production of her coming over and making dinner. Like, he's old enough to like handle himself.
So for me, my answer is different from Don's, because so if you take like when it happened to me, like I was able to stay home as soon as I was 12. Okay. And like now my breaking point would probably be 16, because I would want you to be able to drive somewhere if you needed to. Like if you cut off your finger and need to go to the hospital, you know, or things like that. So I don't know. That's probably my cutoff now. I don't know. My daughter's 5, so I haven't put a lot of thought into it. And my sons live with my ex-wife, so I have no say in that.
Well, it's probably different for different for a girl and a boy, right? Regardless of gender equality, you're still thinking differently of a young woman being alone rather than a young man, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting that he's 12 and he's learning how to drive on a racetrack. Like, what was that? What was that scene at all? Like,
and why isn't the neighbor guy the one on the racetrack?
Right? Who's bringing a Nissan Leaf to a short track to like teach your 12-year-old how to put a car into gear?
There's another missed opportunity. That dude should have been there driving his car.
That would have been hilarious.
Like pulled up and been like, "The fuck, bitches!" And then just
doing donuts around him.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
That would have been awesome.
With a little text pop up that says "douche dad," you know?
Yeah.
No, but going back to what you just said about girls being at home, it's interesting how we agreed to that instantly. But like my entire life, girls have always been babysitters, which is literally what we're talking about here.
Right.
And like my cousins started babysitting at like 11 or 12, so they were Cole's age, right? And and at that time, I mean, again, this is the early 90s, so like we didn't really think anything of it. I don't know how that works now. Like, I don't know if it's better because of cell phones or whatever. I don't have a kid in that age, and I don't really pay attention to 12-year-old girls. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to get back to that point of B being a girl, is she even a girl? Is she even human? We never get into like her backstory in this.
Oh man, I want to talk about that so bad, but I think we should wait till towards the end because I have many theories about B. But either way, like if she's Samara Weaving, like I'm down to have a babysitter. That's great.
I was immediately distracted because I was like, oh, this girl looks like the girl from Ready or Not. Then I realized, oh, it's the girl from Ready or Not. And then I thought, well, that girl from Ready or Not looks like a Kmart Margot Robbie. And I was like, oh, this girl is just a Kmart Margot Robbie. Like, it's just, we couldn't afford somebody
What is
established.
Harley Quinn doing in this movie?
So we got Hugo Weaving's niece. But her character and every character in this movie, I wrote this down. They all have such bad hair. I was so distracted by it, like, because when they intro like Leslie Bibb, like in the tarantula-filled crawl space, like her hair just bonkers, and then B's hair is all over the place, and I was like, who is this girl? Like, because I was playing with the idea of where did she come from, how old is she, all these things, and like if she was really old, she would have like a better sense of style. I don't know, but. I don't know. What did you guys think about, like, just her character? Like, was she worthwhile?
So for me,
go ahead.
It's really, this is one of the few things I think the movie does extremely well. We could have easily ended up in backstory hell about B. And instead, I feel like they give us enough that we know she would have wished for, whether it's eternal life or like long life or just not being injured by shit. Like she gets up from this fucking car wreck like it's nothing, right? So we know that was one of her wishes in the past because we know that she's made a ton of these because of the other innocent kids that have been fucked over, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then once you get past that, you probably go for youth. Like everybody wants to look young forever. So right there, that explains her age, right? Or at least her appearance of age.
Right.
So I think that was another wish at some point. But I'm very interested in what the other wishes were. But whatever they are, they're addictive as fuck for her because she keeps doing this.
Well, and at one point she says that one of her like things was confidence and everybody loves her, right? Like that was one of the things that she got from this. When she's trying to convince the other teens. But I didn't believe that at all because there's a scene right before that when they're like playing like, oh, who would you have sex with? And Max says the Asian girl, and Samara Weaving's character just has this forlorn look on her face. Like this isn't a confident person. Like that's what I got from that scene. But
she gave the appearance of confidence. No,
anyway,
I don't know.
But I don't know. I think that might have been part of the ruse, though.
Like the ruse to the other teens, like she's playing it up for them.
Well, playing it that way, but then also, I guess, giving the guy who's going to be sacrificed a little bit of extra confidence, and like, oh well, she's hurt. I can fix her, or I can satisfy her, make her happy.
I don't think whatever I was thinking that at all.
No, whatever bullshit happens to go through guys' heads, in those moments, like, oh man, she's vulnerable. Let me try something. Let me try this line on her.
Well, then he watches her kiss 7 other people, and then he has to kiss her.
That gets the blood going. So
that's a great point.
They even make the joke when the blood comes out of the one side of the head, but it's delayed on the other. It's like, this must have been all the blood that was in his erection.
Oh, such clever writing.
If only B had wished for like this always goes right in the future, like I feel like that would make things easier for her.
What you were saying about how they didn't bog us down in backstory hell? I felt like they bogged us down in like trying to endear her to us, like endear the relationship of her and Cole to us, because nothing happens in this movie until 28 minutes in. It takes 28 minutes to get to like anything good. Because they're just like fucking dancing in the house and like going for a ride in her car and making pizza. Like it's 28 minutes of like just nothing.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like we need to know that B cares about him or feel that B cares about him. I feel like we could have been fine without all that shit.
It doesn't matter that she cares about him.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It
She's
serves
just using
no
him.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's it going to do? Like, it doesn't like make him more endearing to us. It doesn't make us like, oh, I totally understand why he fell for this. He fell for it because he's a 12-year-old looking at this super hot blonde chick in her fucking bikini. That's why he fell for it. You know, like this isn't complicated. And yeah, I feel like there's so much wasted shit at the beginning when we could have been following the neighbor around instead. No.
I would argue that the teenage kids are not much younger than that neighbor is. These teenagers were like 35 years old.
Most teenagers are.
Right.
I have a theory on that, actually, that Hollywood always casts like 35-year-olds as teenagers because they think, how old are you when you move out of your parents' house? And they're in California, so 35.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
But no, going back to what I was saying really fast, the whole thing about leaving questions is my favorite part of this. It's that we don't know what B is, and we don't get like she doesn't have fangs at the end or something like that. You know, like it leaves so many questions, and I love that about horror. And it's the only thing that I feel got totally right in this film.
I'll take your word for it because I was just annoyed at the end. I just thought there were so many opportunities and you don't really get into like like the whole ritual. There's not enough about the ritual because it gets sidetracked right away. But like I wanted to know more about the other characters who die because their deaths, are very theatrical, and you're supposed to be endeared to these people. So I wanted to know what their wishes were. But we never got to that, except for Bella Thorne.
And what was Bella's wish? Because I remember it being a really normal wish, right?
Well, the wish was... Well, here's my theory about Bella Thorne's wish to be a journalist. It's well established in the film that she is just one of those like ditzy, vapid cheerleader girls. And in her like illiterate, uncultured world, journalism is like the smartest thing you can think of. So I think for her, that was like the bar of success. Like it sounds like a smart person's job. And I know I couldn't do it unless I wished for it through some kind of weird blood death ceremony.
Wow, you made it almost sad.
I think her character is the most sad out of all of... I felt the most compassion for Bella Thorne's character. Because everybody else is like... confident in a certain way where she's confident in like her own way, but you can tell she's also very insecure. So
absolutely, especially once she only has one boob.
When she gets shot in the boob, then you really see the pain on her face. It transcends acting at that point. You can tell she really
limited.
She really thought she lost that breast. But there's surgery for that, right? Like I've seen enough episodes of Botched on E. Like you could fix a blown up boob, right? Like that's not the end of the world for her.
One of my other big problems with this, like they have Cole tied up, right? Why don't they finish the fucking ritual? They have his blood. They have the other blood. Like
they have
what
questions.
Happens here?
They want to know what he knows.
Sure, but you could still do both. Like there's several of you, and you really just need Max to watch Cole, right? Like you don't need anybody else. And why aren't they finishing the ritual? If it's so fucking important, how does it just get pushed to the fucking side like this? Although I will add, I fucking love when they're like, we can see you cutting the rope, right?
With the mirror, yeah.
That's strategically placed mirror behind it.
Why wouldn't there be a mirror right there? Wouldn't it be great to know that one of them put it there on the off chance he was trying to cut the rope?
Well, that scene opens. They needed that scene to open up the door for like police activity, right? Like that's the only reason that scene is there. But can we get into the cop stuff? Because I think it'll open a can.
Do this.
Okay, I want to open a can of worms. And I wanted to get specifically. I want to get your opinion, Don, because
you're gonna get it.
That's how it is.
Okay, I want. There's so much to get through to just set this up. So we were talking about how Cole is like this emasculated 12-year-old, and they established that when he was even younger, he wanted to become a cop. And to me, a cop is a symbol of what he thought masculinity was. And it's like this toxic masculinity that he wants to be a part of because it'll make him a man. Flash forward to cops coming in the house and the one African-American character hiding behind the moniker of Black Lives Matter. He uses it as like a shield. Like, no, bro, like it's a joke still at that point when they made this movie.
Yeah.
And then follow that with this kid who wanted to be a cop ends up being the one who kills the only black character. So Don, I want to know how you felt about this whole sequence.
I am going to rewind a little bit with the police coming into the home. As soon as they come in, Max takes, I think, what was it, curtain rod or the fire poker or something. He throws it at one of the police officers. It pierces through the guy's skull, right? Kills him or is killing him. The other police officer puts the gun or aims his gun at John, the only black person in the room. Max just killed the other cop, but this cop is steadily putting his gun on the black guy, which then John says, hey, Black Lives Matter too, kind of to kind of dissuade him from pulling the trigger or doing anything about it. But, after both police officers are dead, John follows him. And I mean, there's a lot that can go into it. That whole scene with the police officer and John was more comedic probably in 2017 than it is now.
Well,
because people were not taking BLM seriously, even though the platform has not changed, the mission has not changed. The only thing that's changed is the amount of attention and the ability for more people to actually I don't want to say latch on, but at least understand what the message is and what the meaning is, the significance is. With him being killed, I didn't see it as anything. I mean, there are those connections there, but I honestly, I saw John's death as more comedic than disheartening because of the way that he dies. He goes up to chase this kid, up the stairs into his bedroom, and he ends up going over the banister and, I guess breaks his neck, and then he gets pierced by like a sculpture, a mom sculpture or a trophy or something. And it's at that point, it's hilarious. I mean, the deaths in this movie are gruesome and funny at the same time. But what was more telling was that interaction, and whether it was the writers or McGee that decided, hey, this is how we're going to play this scene. Just by looking at it objectively, you question, like, why is the cop not pointing the gun at Max? He's the cop as soon as the guy came in the door, but he's not seen as the threat. He's a double threat because, one, he's got his shirt off, and then two, he just killed somebody. Which there are questions with that. Where the fuck is his shirt?
Wait,
what happened? What happened to his shirt?
Are you guys wearing shirts? Because I'm not wearing a shirt right now. I thought we were doing this topless.
Where's his shirt?
I just went with no pants.
Okay. So between the three of us, there's one complete outfit. I like that.
Yeah, yes. It's like the Daffy Duck Mickey Mouse combo, or whatever it would be. I don't know.
You got the Winnie the Pooh going, and I I'm like Patrick from SpongeBob. I only got the shorts on.
But do you have the boots?
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, go on, James.
I was just going to say, at least John doesn't get Max's death.
Oh,
shit. God damn, I didn't even think about that. Go ahead, James. Go straight to it, man.
Get into it.
No, I'm not going to talk about Max dying. That sounds terrible.
Well, no, here's what I
really have questions.
Here is a good thing about Max's death, though. That would have been really fucked up. If that were the death that John had as a response to chasing Cole, there would have been a lot more weight to his death, and it wouldn't have been comical. Whereas Max's death was comical because of the way he finds himself in the rope.
Can you explain this to me? I watched it 4 fucking times, and I have no idea how Max gets this rope around his neck. It makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, he was going up to the playhouse or treehouse or whatever the hell, Max would want. I'm sorry, not Max. That Cole has in that yard, and it just seems like the deaths were predictable, but they were still worth it. Because, as soon as I saw that rope, I'm like, this motherfucker's going to get hung or get hanged or he's going to get a serious rope burn and decapitated or something. But
that would have been
even better.
That would have been so much better.
It's kind of like the car. I mean, the physics don't match.
Well, yeah, but I feel like he had to die by hanging. Well, he didn't even die by hanging. He died when B shot him.
Yeah. I don't understand how the way he falls, it wraps around his neck. Like, it makes no fucking sense to me.
Well, here's what you do. You get a length of rope, and you go to your tree, and you just try and recreate it and see how long it takes to make it work.
I'll be back.
It's your own personal Mythbusters.
Deathbusters.
There's a show idea. You just test every horror film death.
We'll need new hosts every now and then.
No, you just have a special guest each week. You do it like dinosaurs, man. And just you do it
Thomas,
like dinosaurs.
You're surprisingly our first guest to come back.
All right, we're going to take a shotgun blast to the face.
I feel good about this.
If Looney Tunes it holds up to reality.
So that scene at the end when he gets shot, I feel like they needed to have B's character shoot him because it shows that she has empathy for people. But that's the other thing I was confused about, because she likes this guy and she doesn't want him to suffer, so she shoots him so he dies. But why does she need friends there anyways? Can't she do the ritual on her own? Does she need to include like her peers in all of this? I didn't think she needed to. It didn't make sense that she was subjecting these people. Was she trying to get them to like her?
Well, it seems as though there were 5, so you had to complete the pentagram, right? It was just the 5. It was the jock or the tank, the cheerleader.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Hey, I was looking at numbers, man. I'm like, well, there's this. So you had those 5. So you had the 3 girls and the 2 guys that would have to. I'm assuming they would have to form the ends of the pentagram if that was how the ritual had to be done. I mean, I think she probably would have to move on because she needed 4 more people to complete the ceremony. She can't do it by herself, even with the blood.
It's so good that we got all this time of B and Cole hanging out instead of answers like that, because I think like her rushing them and trying to get the ritual done while Cole was tied up would be so much better. If she was like, no, he's fucking tied up. It's fine. Get over here. And she's like trying to position him on the pentagram. And then one of them's like pointing out, look, I can see him cutting the rope. Like, again, I think this is a huge missed opportunity. That would be a way better scene.
But she's not very efficient with her like
but
process.
She could be. If we're going to rewrite the scenes, we can make her efficient.
It makes it sound like she's been watching Cole for a long time and like setting this up for a while. So is she not aging in this world? And like, why does it take so long? Can't she just babysit one? Can't she go on like care.com, make a profile, just find one kid and just do it? Like, does she have to have this rapport with the child? Because they know so much about each other and they're talking about movies and like the relationship doesn't make sense to me.
I think she needs that. I think she needs to know that he's that innocent. I don't know why she doesn't watch her baby. That's all.
But isn't the nerd she recruited just as innocent as the 12-year-old?
Like his blood mixed with itself, and now it's done.
Well,
like
but
yeah.
If it's the the sacrifice and the blood of the innocent, maybe you can't have those two things together. I mean, obviously they have to mix them, but I'm sure this guy seems as though it's somebody that she just met. I mean, it's an easy prey because she's this blonde, beautiful woman who that guys seem to gravitate toward, and this guy's sitting there thinking like, man, this is awesome. I'm going to get laid tonight. Who's to say exactly what he's probably doing in his own search history on his computer? There's probably all types of shit that he's been up to, because not all the guys that look like nerds are such innocent people. I mean, he might be one of these guys who goes on Call of Duty and throws the N-word around every 2 seconds.
Jeez.
I can't picture Samuel doing that.
Oh, Sam. Poor Sam. Well, so another thing about Bee's relationship with Cole is that scene where they take out his blood and she like sticks around to make sure he doesn't faint. Is that supposed to be because she cares about him, or is she just suspicious at that point? And I also have theories about that scene, but we can get to that later.
Oh no, tell us your theories. I want to hear them.
So after that scene, my theory for the rest of the film was this is all just a dream. Because there's the opening scene where he's getting a shot at school. And when she says, like, oh, you faint when you're around needles, my immediate thought was, oh, he has just fainted in the nurse's office at school, and this is all a weird faint dream. It's like a Jacob's Ladder thing, where at the end of the movie, like, he wakes up and, like, everything's the same kind of thing. So that, for me, was like, oh, they're telling us that this isn't real because he has a history of fainting.
That would make perfect sense for them to have done that, because that would account for so many things being weird in the movie.
But it wasn't, apparently. Spoiler alerts, he wasn't dreaming.
I mean, you can pretty much tell somebody wasn't dreaming by the fact that we do the film on the show. Because if they were, other than Jacob's Ladder, I'm probably going to be like, no, fuck that shit. That's, no.
Besides, what kid is dreaming about his mom giving his dad a hand job?
Right, the peek-ins to, like, don't they discuss that at, like, the beginning? Like, he and his friend, the girl,
well, they make a joke and say, "Oh, they're probably going off to a hotel to have sex." And like, they have sex in the house too, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing of, dude, you can't be this oblivious to thinking that your parents aren't having sex in their own home that they pay the fucking mortgage for.
I liked her character, but they didn't go to her enough, and he didn't contact her enough. Like, he was texting her up until the point where he sees this kid get stabbed in the head. Then he stops, like, letting her know what's going on. Like, why doesn't he have his phone with him at all times? Why isn't he texting this girl and keeping her updated with, like, his whereabouts and what's happening?
I'm just wondering why he didn't run across the street and go for assistance earlier, because it seems like he's, even at the point where he runs underneath the house, to set up, oh my gosh.
Sonia.
To set up Sonia, to fight back against her, kill her, whatever he's going to try to do, but, initially hiding. I'm sitting there thinking, like, why are you going under the house to hide from all these people? Why don't you go somewhere else and get help? Because as an innocent kid as you are, this isn't fucking Home Alone, dude. Like, you would be going and looking for someone to help you, as opposed to, I could take on these bad guys all by myself.
Well, I think he knew that his neighbors weren't reliable, because there were cop cars and cop lights flashing for a long period of time outside the house. If that's my neighbor, I'm like at the window seeing what's going on the entire time it's happening. So people are clearly oblivious to what's going on around.
Or they're, caught up in their key parties, because this definitely has a key party neighborhood vibe.
Yeah, it's got an Eyes Wide Shut vibe. There's another callback. They could have called back to another Kubrick film, but they didn't. See, missed opportunities across the board.
Wow, good point.
And all of these, this is kind of off subject, but all of these like child actors are in every horror movie of the last 3 years. Like, yeah, Weaving's in Ready or Not, and the other younger girl is in Doctor Sleep. Like, they just keep popping up. I keep seeing them all the time.
Is it just me, or does Cole's little girlfriend like totally change during the film? I feel like like at the beginning, she seems way younger than she does at the end, and like no time has passed. Like,
I think they definitely did some reshoots, and she had aged.
is that what it is?
It must be. They must have rewrote the ending.
Huh.
To like, I don't know. That was my theory, because she is definitely older. Like when they're in the bathroom and they like have their little 12-year-old kissing scene. Like,
Yeah.
oh, kissing scenes in this movie are fucking wild. But that scene, it's like she's much older now than she was at school the day before. So I noted that, but I just figured it was a product of reshoots.
I was literally like, did I just not pay enough attention, or is this like a different actress? Like, what the fuck is happening? It was very strange to me.
It's the same problem you had with the finale of How I Met Your Mother.
That's true.
You have a problem with children aging.
I do have a problem with children aging, yes.
But can we go back to that scene of the spin the bottle scene where she gets dared to kiss everybody, and they have that 90-second kissing scene with Bella Thorne. It felt so out of place, so unnecessary, but like it's a horror trope, right, that they had to put in.
You know, my biggest problem with the kissing scene is it's not even that it takes too long or anything else. It's that McG made such a big deal out of how he was basically like making a satire of all these things. And that scene is supposed to be like a satire of male gaze in horror films. Yeah. And that's fucking bullshit, because this is just a straight 90 seconds male gaze tribute. This is not a satire. This is, look, here you go. Like a satire is like Not Another Teen Movie, when the girl who goes back to high school is making out with Sarah Michelle Gellar's doppelganger over there. You know, like that's a satire. And what they did here is not. And I think it's so weird that he went out of his way to make this statement that it's a satire, and that's the scene that he talked about the most. And also, like you said earlier, McG just kind of seems like the Hamburglar's gone thug.
It's just such a sleazy name to have, especially paired with a 90-second kissing scene between two 17-year-olds.
37-year-olds.
Right, they're not young.
Where do you want to go next? What time are we at?
56.
56. All right. What haven't we talked about yet?
Well, the wishes yet, but I mean that can come in a little bit.
Yes, I can.
Oh, Jesus.
I thought you already did.
That too. I'm trying to think if I have anything else, really. This was my problem. I didn't have a lot going into this, as Thomas knows. I was having a bad morning anyway, but I was like, I don't even know what the fuck to talk about. But no, the masculinity thing, I think that there's so many places we can go with that. Like we've talked about Cole, and we've talked about the neighbor. We talked about the dad a little bit, right? But I feel like there's more to the dad and the mom there. I don't know. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
Well, they're like on the brink of divorce, right? That's the whole thing, and they're trying to rekindle their relationship. That's what.
And how does a hand job help that? I'd be like, I'm fucking out of here.
Hey, he was like, wearing. You know, if I'm wearing a robe, I feel luxurious already.
Oh, a hand job to save my marriage. Meanwhile, dumb shit next door took a Uber to his Tinder date.
Yeah, let's cover like that. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about like like we haven't really talked about like him being in middle school and him dealing with high schoolers. I don't know if there's anything there, but I also wanted to get into what Don was talking about what our like wish would be in this ceremony.
Yeah, cool. Go for it. Wherever you want to take us first.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. Let me think. Yeah, can we go back to talking about Cole's parents?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Cole's parents are an interesting thing, because a lot of this is based on they think he needs a babysitter. But why does he need a babysitter? Because they want to go out and like rekindle their marriage. And their idea is like going to a DoubleTree and like just hanging out on the same bed together and doing hand stuff, and that's cool. But I really like Ken Marino's character because he's really understanding of of Cole, and I feel like he's babying him, but he also is well intentioned. But this is also like Cole's example of a grown man, and to see his dad like in a relationship with the mom and it's kind of struggling, I think is not easy for him as a 12-year-old. Because I remember being 12 and the only male example in my life was my dad. So you can see kind of why he is the way he is. That's just what I got from the need to have those parents there. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, my number one thing that I think is weird is that they have to go somewhere. Like, if you're really trying to rekindle your relationship, you should be working on it all the time, right? And they're definitely not. Like, she's yelling at him when he's looking for his shorts, and she's like annoyed by his jorts and that whole fucking weird
and
conversation.
Passive-aggressive about the knife and the dishwasher.
Yeah. Like, everything he does is wrong, and I don't know. It's just, I don't feel like they're really trying to make anything better. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but I think there's also something relaxing about not being in your home. Like, have you never like taken a staycation where it's just like, I live, 10 minutes from San Francisco, but sometimes it's just nice to have a night in a hotel in the city. Like, you don't have to be doing anything. It's just nice to be in a different location. And I think taking a struggling relationship to kind of a neutral site is better than having the tension of the home and, just dealing with it. And like, you're in the same bunker together all the time. It's nice to get away from that.
I guess my theory on that is more like the thing they're trying to escape is Cole, but they refuse to let Cole grow up so that they could escape him.
I don't know. I think it also speaks to that whole idea of the, I guess, people who become bored in their relationships and they don't know what to do. So, they're living out what some people say is the American dream. They're obviously middle class, probably upper middle class, as far as where their area is because of the size of the house. And, at least from what it appears to be their professions. But they've got their kid and they're getting into that weird part of their marriage where you've had every fucking conversation you can have because you two know everything there is about each other. And it seems as though, the kid is there, or Cole is there, as the thing that ties them together. So maybe they should try being by themselves, not necessarily to escape Cole, but to see if it still works when he's not around. And with this I guess marriage tune-ups or whatever they might be having, just to see if they're even compatible at this point still.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
James isn't sold on the idea. He needs activities.
No, if they're going to just go to the hotel, then they should at least be into each other while they're there. And they're not, she's giving him a hand job. He's reading or whatever. Like, I don't know. The whole thing's fucking weird to me. And I'm like, if you're already that far gone, what the fuck are you trying for?
And maybe that's what they're learning is that, shit, this ain't it. This ain't working.
This sounds like a nice night to me. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I mean, I'm with you, Jake. Like, for me, it would be, hey, let's get out of town. Let's go here or here. It wouldn't be, hey, let's go to DoubleTree and do the same shit we normally would do at home.
Let's go to DoubleTree. You get a free cookie and I get a hand job.
And there is the breakfast buffet in the morning.
But for me, this is another example of the movie trying to be funny because they can't show a sex scene because it's a made-for-Netflix movie for PG-13. It's not an R-rated film, right? So they have to do something to show what they're doing and try and be funny, but it doesn't land because it just adds more questions to it. It creates a whole tapestry on its own to me where I'm more interested in that couple and that relationship than I am with what's going on with Cole and the teens. Yeah, but maybe that's just because I'm old. Just old now and I don't care about teenagers anymore. I want to
teenagers die in the movies. That's where we are.
I want to see teenagers get shot in the boob, and I want to see middle-aged people have marriage problems.
God. Oh my gosh. But that really wraps into the masculinity thing we've been talking about, though. just his utter indifference to doing this when he's laying there on the bed. That's part of the whole masculinity thing. You know, it's like Cole wants to get to that level. He wants a relationship and he wants these things. But the reality that we're seeing is that those things aren't great.
Well, it's a facade. I mean, because people present themselves in great relationships or whatever. You know, we've all seen the Instagram or Facebook post of, hey, just celebrating, our 10-year anniversary. Never been so in love with somebody. This is the best person that I could. And people who know them, like, they're so full of shit. Like, these guys always pretending to be happy, but we know they hate each other. But people who don't know them would be like, man, that's exactly what I want. Look at them. They're traveling. They're having fun together. And then you start to, beyond just masculinity, you start to at least equate that as being a healthy relationship as far as the appearance. And I'm sure Cole does as well, because he sees his parents. He is convinced that they probably love each other. They probably do. But he doesn't know about all of the different layers that go into those relationships, because he just sees what's on the surface, as opposed to, as they talked about Mad Men, they don't see the depth, or he won't see the depth that goes into their relationship, as far as, like you guys mentioned earlier, the condescending tone, or the passive aggressive way of talking about, the knife doesn't go in the dishwasher, it goes in the butcher's block. And how that actually works with each partner, where they're kind of like, well, fuck you, I'm going to put the knife back in the dishwasher just to piss you off.
Well, it was dirty, so I didn't put it in the butcher's block.
Can you put a dirty knife in the butcher's block? Is that how that works?
No, you're supposed to wash it off in the sink and then dry it and then put it in the butcher's block.
See, these are things I'm learning.
Well, it depends on the knife. I mean, it's just like cast iron.
Remind me not
stuff.
to borrow your knives.
Not after a murder. I need to dispose of that evidence. I don't need you to have it. It's like cast iron, pot pans. Like,
right. But speaking of disposing evidence, how did she get the house so goddamn clean so fast? That's why I thought it was a dream. Everything was pristine.
But again, that might go into her wishes and her backstory. This might be some shit where, there's so many, super speed. I don't know. There's so many things that she can get into.
We're establishing that she's supernatural. Like, it's just decided that she can move cop cars and she can clean houses and...
Yeah, because she said she disposed of the cop car. Like, she didn't say... I don't even think she said, "Oh, I drove it away and dumped it here." She said she disposed of it. So how?
With the bodies.
I have so many questions still. Why does she shoot Bella Thorne? Because she's seen too much and she needs to die? Is that why? Or she needs the kid alive still?
I think it's because she's weak as far as Bella Thorne at this point. Yeah, as far as it's her job as a babysitter to protect this kid, because he shouldn't die, right? I mean, because if you kill the blood of the innocent, doesn't that taint the blood? Even after it's been taken out of the body? I mean, as far as like with this type of ritual.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't know. Innocent. Is this real science?
No. I mean, as far as if you were to take the blood out of him and you haven't used it on the pages, and then you allowed harm to come to him, wouldn't that like fuck up the ceremony?
But what's innocence? Like, he establishes with his mom that he knows what a pussy is. So then is he not innocent anymore because his mind isn't pure?
Ooh.
But he hasn't acted on any of that stuff.
I don't know. He stayed up all night watching Mad Men. I don't know. There's something
He
there.
didn't leave a bad review for Mad Men. So, I mean, that's probably... He didn't go on 4chan.
That was my other problem with this, is that whoever wrote this movie, I didn't bother looking it up because I didn't care enough, but at that end scene where he's like talking down to her and he's like, "Oh, you're Don Draper," or whatever it was.
Right.
And I was like, what is the point of this? Like, somebody is way too into Mad Men and they're like, I'm going to write it into my next movie. I'm going to reference Mad Men as much as I can. Like, what was the point?
Maybe it was part of the contract. No.
You got to talk about Mad Men. We got to push it. We got to push Mad. I know it's been off the air for years, but you got to push Mad Men. It just didn't make sense to me. A lot of the movie didn't make sense to me.
Well, one thing that didn't, well, that I liked, that did make sense, and this might go back to James's love for Max, since we're talking about killing and all that other stuff. Max's line, more so than some of the other stuff that he did, but the line that he gives about why he's there,
yes,
is outstanding.
Refresh my memory.
I came here to kill people. He didn't give a shit about any type of ceremony or anything that was going on. It was kind of like, I came here to kill people. And maybe for him, it was simply, I wanted to, see somebody killed, just the idea that I know somebody has to be sacrificed. So great. And he doesn't hesitate that first opportunity that he gets when the police officer walks in, he just fucking spears him in the face.
Yeah.
And it makes you question, like, if this is who this guy is, one, what is his wish? And then two, what are, at least the writers and directors saying with this guy who on the surface seems to have it all and just sits there and says, fuck it, I just want to kill somebody.
Yeah, I think it's mostly surface level. I think that's just it. Like, he has this urge to kill, and the ceremony is his way of doing it, I guess.
Yeah, I like how he's like, I'm not like the others. I'm here to kill. And like that just like that amped up that toxic masculinity for me again. It's like Max is doing this to prove what a man he is, but he doesn't even take the opportunity to kill Cole. He's like, wait, we got to teach you, like we talked about earlier. And I think it's funny that he makes this huge production out of how I came here to kill, and then he doesn't take the opportunity when it's actually there.
Yeah.
Max is a weird character, but I love him.
Well, so in this situation, say, I'm going to throw it at you. You're 17 years old. What do? Like, obviously you're there. There's something wrong with you that you've agreed to this ceremony. So are you there to kill, or are you there to fulfill a wish?
Wish.
The wish.
Interesting. I think I'd be like the nerd who's there just to, just to look at the hot people.
And watch the 90 seconds of kissing.
Sitting there with my stopwatch, like, that was a good 90 seconds. No, I think that I would go with Wish also.
Well, speaking of wishes, like,
yeah,
because it's never really made clear. Because even with the wishes that are kind of, I guess we could kind of guess what they are with, the QB of the team. Maybe he's wishing that he, goes to the college that he wants, becomes a pro quarterback or whatever. Bella Thorne's wish, I don't fully believe. I don't know what John's wish is. I'm not sure what Sonia's wish is. Maybe she's going to become like a world famous artist or something, because she definitely had that artistic girl look to her. What would any of you wish if you were in the same position? Not as far as like where you are now in life. I mean, we could do both. But what would 16, 17-year-old you have sat down or been convinced enough to go to a this type of party to commit these acts in order to have a wish fulfilled? What would it be?
17-year-old me would just wish for Samara Weaving.
But she wasn't born when you were 17, James.
Well, but no, see, if I'm there with her,
no,
I don't understand timelines.
Wait, hold on a second. This character, B is probably alive at this period, because we don't know how old she is.
Right, she could be.
Good point.
Very, very old. That's a great point. Didn't think of that.
Lawyered.
Okay. I got lawyered.
But yeah, that would have been me at 17. Like now it would be like money, power, things like that. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say I was gonna do superhero shit. I'm gonna be a supervillain.
That was a very honest answer. Thomas, what about you?
And then I'm gonna wish for Samara Weaving.
Well, I think at 17, like, man, it's so hard, because at that age, like, I was in a weird situation. So personally for me, it would have been kind of more of an abstract dream because I had like medical issues as a teenager, so I didn't know like what the next 10 years would look like for me. So I think I would just have been making a pact with the devil or whatever entity for like some sense of normalcy. Because that's what I wanted when I was that age. But then like if you boil it down to like what I would have wanted had I been like a normal, healthy kid, like I think it was just, another trope of like, oh, I want to be an athlete or I want to be a famous musician, something like that. I don't think it would be very interesting. So that's another thing about Bella Thorne's character is like her wish wasn't very interesting, but it's not like she was wishing to go to Disneyland or something. Like,
God, that'd be amazing if one of them was just there to go to Disneyland.
It's a Make-A-Wish.
Not even World. They're not even going to Orlando. They just want to go to Disneyland.
They want to go to Anaheim. Yeah.
I want to go to Six Flags.
I don't know. What about you, Don? 17-year-old you. What would you want?
Oh, God. I'm not going to incriminate myself here on this podcast. You know what? Knowing 16, 17-year-old me, I probably would have wished for two things. And that's, between these two things. I was dealing with a lot of issues during that period. So I think one would have been, probably fame and fortune, like a lot of those things are, maybe a famous actor, rich, professional athlete. But I think the other one, which probably would have been more accurate, was the power to control life and death.
Wow.
And because there were a good number of people, there were people I lost during that time period, and there were people that I wanted out of my life. And as far as like people I knew, went to school with, things like that. And that whole idea of I could just not wish you at that moment, but as far as I could control whether or not you stop breathing at this moment. And then I would bring you back to fuck with you and then kill you again.
Wow. So you are there to kill.
I guess I am. Anyway.
And I thought I was the supervillain.
I think 42-year-old me or grown me would probably, God, I would probably make a wide sweeping wish as far as it wouldn't be as sadistic or dark as that. Shit, I might wish the same thing as far as life and death. Now that I think about it. Anyway, I think I would end up wishing something to the effect of any of the people that go out with these QAnon shit and Alex Jones type conspiracy theories would just wake the fuck up. Like just the nonsense that people are willing to believe just because they have an internet connection. I would probably just make it to the point where none of them can have internet.
So
and they have to go read a book.
Your dream is censorship.
No, not censorship. It's if you're going to use the internet for that shit, no internet for you. No.
Oh, you're
pretty sure that's censorship.
You want to be Big Brother.
No.
Man, your answers are so existential. Like mine, like adult me, like if it was me now making a wish, I would just want to be like 25 forever. Like I'd want to go back to 25 and just be that for the rest of eternity. Like that's all.
No. I mean, in all seriousness, I think one of the ones I would wish for would be to go back with the knowledge that I have, and to be able to repeat parts of my life. Because there are all these moments that we all have. We're like, what the fuck was I thinking when I did this or that? Oh, I should have punched this fucker in his face. Those types of things that you even see in this film where if Cole had gotten, and this is a film picking up on Cole when he gets older, I know there's this moment that Max was trying to push to him and saying, like, you got to stand up to this guy. It's about getting him to fight him. But Cole goes to the bully and says, hey, man, you got to get out of here because, there are dead bodies in my house. These guys have been killed. There's a satanic ritual. They're doing this, doing this, doing this. As opposed to this guy's been bullying the shit out of you. The guy who wants to kill you is telling you go stand up for yourself, and you go and narc on them. I mean, I'm sure if you were able to get back to B, she would she would basically say, you know, fuck, we're not going to kill you, man. Just don't say shit. You're fucking stupid. Like, you're not going to do anything. Nobody's going to believe what you have to say because you're a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. You know, there's so many stories and movies about going back and changing things about the past and wishing for a redo. And I think a lot of people would wish for something like that. I don't know if in this movie, if Cole would go back to before this happens, because I think this is his whole coming of age, making him a man thing. So I think he's going to need a lot of therapy, but I don't think he regrets what happens in this movie.
No, especially, you know, by the end of the film, he definitely doesn't, because now he's not that innocent kid anymore. You know, he's not that kid who has no knowledge of the world, or at least is sheltered, like his parents have kind of have created this world for him. Because, you know, he finally does say, fuck it, I'm going to, you know, after really the only people that are left are Bella Thorne and Samara Weaving's characters. And he runs across the street, goes to his girlfriend's house, or his girlfriend's house. And they do something that I thought was fucking hilarious at this moment. They go in the house, and even as a viewer, when they know Samara Weaving's character is coming, they immediately hide. And as a viewer, you think, like, please tell me they fucking locked the door. And they're sitting there thinking, and Cole has that statement where he says, do your doors automatically lock? And at that moment, everything is like, you know, there's going to be no problem with B coming into the house. But it's great as far as the way that they start to push this idea that he's developing and he's growing as a young man from the first moment that he sees what's going on in this house. And there's no turning back for him.
It's so sad.
And he's never going to be able to date this girl because her dad's going to be like, do you know what the fuck he did to my car?
Yeah, he can't live that one down.
Oh, trust me. She's going to be going at, because the again, with the cliches with a lot of these movies and everything that comes after, just because the dad says no, that's going to make her want to go out with him even more.
Well, yeah, of course.
You know, this dude stole my dad's car. So badass. He's so hot. He did. You know, there's not going to be a moment where she doesn't think about, you know what? I'm going to date you just to get back at my dad. Because I know it's going to piss him off. But speaking of coming of age, okay, you see how some people come of age earlier, or I shouldn't say come of age, but mature and reach that period a little bit earlier in this film, where people of the same age as Cole are not as innocent.
Yeah.
What were some moments, or at least for him, he needs this traumatic thing to get him to grow up. But what were some moments, not necessarily traumatic, for either of you, that were that defining moment where you change from one to another?
Like in my personal life, or like in the you know, I was never really bullied or anything. I mean, I was definitely picked on, you know, at this age, at like 12, but you know, there's always bigger fish in the pond that are going to pick on you. But I just remembered being in high school and not, again, these horror flicks are not indicative of what middle school and high school life are like in real life. But
right.
I think that in real life, my whole, everything I wanted to do in high school was just kind of be an everyman. Like, I didn't want a specific group of friends. I didn't want a lot of friends. I just wanted to kind of exist on my own and not get anybody in anybody's way. And I didn't want anybody to get in my way. So I think that was my defense mechanism against, you know, experiencing things that he goes through. Like, I just wanted to be independent, I think. I wasn't so worried about the masculinity part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What about you guys?
I mean, for me, I was relentlessly bullied. And so my answer to you would be graduating high school and going to college, because it was basically wiping the slate clean and being able to be anybody I wanted at that point. And I was lucky enough that I had a friend who basically explained this to me. Like, you're going to be away from your parents. You don't have to deal with that. None of the people that you went to high school with will be there, you know? And it really opened a door for me where I was able to become whoever I wanted. And I guess that would be the equivalent of what you're talking about. But as far as maturing, I hope I never do.
I don't think you're capable of it.
Good.
Why would we want you to anyway? I mean, what's the point?
Right. What about you, Don?
Oh man, this is not going to get too deep, but I would say one of the moments definitely for me, and I can visualize this day as we're talking about it. It was my high school graduation. So I mean, following the same as you, because I had a shitty time the last year of high school, and then when it came to to the point where I thought I was going to be killed, like that type of shit was going on. And at graduation, even the graduation rehearsal, I was fucking looking over my shoulder and making sure shit was not going to go down or happen to me. When graduation hit, that was the moment I'm like, I'm not going to fuck with any of you guys. Like, I really have no desire to hang out with any of you, to come back and reminisce on when this bullshit 10-year anniversary happens, or what's now past 20 years. And for any of you who are listening who happen to be of that age where you're in high school or getting to that point where you do go to college, to build off of what James said, high school is bullshit. When you go off to college, because there's never this, I hate the analogy of you going to the real world, because college isn't even the real world. When you leave high school and you go away to college, you will learn more about yourself than you ever thought you could learn, because you've been, no matter what your life was like in high school, good or bad, you've been sheltered from a lot of shit. But when you go to college, you have a lot more freedom.
Man, I had like the opposite experience, because for me, like high school was like the last time where I was like, not, oh, this is just getting sad now. This is such a fun movie, and we've made it so depressing. Because like my senior year for me, like I had like 2 classes and I was at school like not at all. And it was just this freeing kind of like year for me. And then like transitioning into college, like that was when I got like really like sick. So for me, college was managing an illness, managing school, and also working full time. And like, thank God I was working full time, because this is when I met James. But like that whole period of time for me was terrible, like not knowing what the future was going to be like. And I was just like reminiscing about like I had a really good senior year, and like why can't every year be like my last year of high school? Flash forward to like what I said earlier, like I wish I could be 25 again, because like that's when everything leveled out for me and everything was just fine. And like I want that feeling of just being fine. And like it's just so depressing. It's gotten so depressing, guys.
No, it's not. This is enlightening.
Have you guys seen the movie Rushmore?
Yes.
So at the end of Rushmore, there's a song by The Faces, which is Rod Stewart's old band, called Ooh La La, and there's a line in it. It's a song about his grandfather, and there's a line in it that says, you know, I wish I knew what I know now.
Yes.
Back then. And like it's such a sad thing to hear when you're getting older. And when you have like a life to look back on, it's like, yeah, like I wish I knew everything I knew now back then. And that's what this conversation is doing to me. And it's making me sad.
Well, let's talk about Bella Thorne's one boob, shall we?
Well, that makes me sad too, because it's missing now.
Bella Thorne only has one boob. The end.
She can fix it. There's surgery for that.
I'll be honest, I was really hoping you would say that made you sad too, because I'm a supervillain. So I'm going to try to bring it back and make it light again for you. Every death in this film is so much fun for me. I feel like these deaths were actually creative, whether it's the trophy through the neck. The fucking firework is hilarious to me, because we just talked about Silver Bullet. I love Silver Bullet, the firework used on the fucking werewolf, right? And that one doesn't kill him either. But when it doesn't kill Sonya, it's so fucking great. It's so much better that it doesn't work. If this immediately fucking killed her, it'd be fun. But holy shit, they take it to this other level where her hands get stuck in rat traps. And then, you know, what does he even spray her with? I don't even fucking know.
Bug spray.
It was bug spray, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so then he just like fucking is like just spraying it in her fucking face and the whole thing explodes. That's so much more fun to me. And that's where I feel that this film shines. It's definitely not plot, and it's definitely not high quality stuff, but it's characterization, number one, because each of the characters is interesting to me. And then it's the fucking crazy ass deaths. And I just feel like they should have leaned into this even more than they did, and it would be a better movie.
Yeah, I agree. And some of the deaths, well, I guess at the end, you can't really say that B died because she's still alive in the post-credit scene or possessed or whatever she is. But that scene where he hits her with a car and he gets out and they share like a moment together seemed completely like out of place.
Absolutely.
Like she was just there to use this kid and he's still trying to like get her to like him. And of course, for me, it would have been so much funnier if he got out of this muscle car, walked over to her, threw the keys in her face, and just said, "NASCAR Nation, bitch." And then that's how the movie ended.
That would have been amazing.
It's in the rewrites. I'm going to remake this film.
And then douche dad's outside, like giving him a standing ovation, wiping a little tear from his eye. That's my boy, like.
Well, when you said you wanted to watch The Babysitter, I thought you were talking about that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson flick where he plays a babysitter. Wasn't that called The Babysitter also?
I have no idea.
Or maybe it's Vin Diesel. It's one of those
That's
beefcakes.
The Pacifier with Vin Diesel.
Okay, yeah, then it must have been The Babysitter with Dwayne Johnson. But I think that probably had a more coherent plot than this film did.
I don't know. Don thought we were doing some movie from how long ago?
There was just there was one in like the 80s or the 90s, The Babysitter. It was another horror movie, unless I'm thinking of the wrong movies.
And then I accidentally watched The Babysitters Club for like 6 hours. Yeah, I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah, 95, The Babysitter.
Huh.
It's another horror movie.
Is this a remake?
No. This is like one of those home invasion movies or some crappy thing.
Oh, that's the other thing. I thought this kid would be more like capable in his own home. I thought we were going to see some Home Alone shit, and we never really got to it. Like, aside from him leaving his Hot Wheels on the ground, proving that he's too young to not have a babysitter, not cleaning up his mess in the hallway. Like, that was the only, like, little gag he had going for him. I thought he'd come up with things, but he was just, like, kind of running scared the whole time.
Yeah. I was hoping for that as well.
I don't know.
It would be a better film.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that could have made this better, but I mean, I'm not out there making these movies, so good on them for getting this one to Netflix.
There you go. You guys have anything else to add?
I don't know. Would you guys recommend this movie to people?
I would. I mean, I think it's a fun horror, suspense movie, a comedy horror movie. I mean, when I was done with it, I was kind of like, I kind of want to watch it again, not immediately, but I could watch it again if it were on TV or something. I don't know if I would immediately go back onto Netflix and say, hey, play it again. But it's something I would recommend if somebody was looking for, I don't know, just a 90-minute movie that they hadn't seen, not too into horror, not looking for something that's really going to make them laugh. Or overly
I would definitely recommend it to people, but I can't be trusted because I forced a bunch of people to watch Killjoy recently. So, I mean, I would definitely have the caveat. Like, it would be, this film's funny and it's interesting deaths and stuff like that. But if you're looking for a cohesive plot, I don't know. In the right situation, I would definitely recommend this, though. What about you, Thomas? Would you be like, no, don't fucking watch that? Or,
well, this gets my usual of like recommend it over Splice, but I won't recommend it like like if somebody's like, I'm about to watch Splice, I'll be like, oh, have you seen The Babysitter? You should watch that one first. I for me, like, it's kind of a throwaway movie. I don't think that I'll really remember it in a month or so. But if somebody was like, hey, I'm looking for something to watch tonight, like, do you have anything that I can just kind of tune out and enjoy. Like I would probably recommend this one or any other like horror flick from the last couple of years. Like Ready or Not's a good one for that. Like it's a little in the same vein as this. And but as far as what's streaming on Netflix, there's probably other things that are a much better horror film or even horror comedy film. But if you've seen all of those, I would say go ahead and watch this one. Because it's not that it's not enjoyable. It's just you watch it and you're like, it wasn't great. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah. But it's still a fun watch. And clearly there's a lot going on that is more than just surface level in there, because we've gotten into places I didn't think we'd get into, talking about a Bella Thorne movie on Netflix from 2017.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up then, huh? So as always, I want to thank you for coming on. If you want to talk about your podcast, this would be a great place to do it.
I don't. I just want to keep promoting this one, and I want to be on it a lot more.
I'm going to bring you on 31 more times in a fucking row.
Is that the wish that he made on the book with the blood of the sacrifice and blood of the innocent? Is that your
You don't
wish?
have to answer that. You don't have to answer that. As your lawyer, I advise you not to answer that.
I'll pencil it in for the fall.
Sweet. All right. Well, cool then. So, Don, you got anything? Any famous last words?
Yeah, buy my book. Buy my book. Buy my book, The Token Black Guide, which, if you're having some trouble understanding any of the racial issues in this country at this moment, feel free to pick up a copy. I'm sure you can get it through an independent bookstore, but it's on Amazon, also on Kindle. If you're looking for horror or suspense, I'm still going to recommend James's book, Fat Camp, as well as my book, Bastards of the Bayou. James does not promote his book enough, and he does not puff out his chest enough talking about his book, because for some reason he thinks like, oh, I liked it, it was okay. And I'm sitting here throwing like, it's a good fucking book, man. More people need to know about this. Yeah. That's how you sound.
I can't puff out my chest. I only have one boob.
Well, puff in your chest. Anyway, buy James's book. James's book is available at Amazon.com. Token Black Guide, Fat Camp, Bastards of the Bayou, and whatever else we are working on for the near future.
And buy Thomas's book. He doesn't have one, but send him money.
Oh no, it's the Token Black Guide, the annotated version. I go in there and I make notes in Don's book.
You probably you have a chapter on there called All Lives Matter after I put on.
Oh man.
No. So what happens is I've bought every copy, a physical copy of your book, and I do each one by hand. It takes forever, and I haven't sold any, so I think I'm probably going to stop doing it.
We don't want that to happen, people, so buy Thomas's book. All right, so
Sweet. We're in the big leagues, annotated versions.
As you can tell, quarantine is getting to all of us, and we don't smoke nearly enough pot. All right, so until next week, I am James Sabata.
And I am Don Guillory.
And that guy's Thomas. And we will see you next week here on the Necronama.com.
NASCAR Nation, bitch!